Welcome to Wellness in the Woods. I'm Leslie Coretti and I'll be your host today. Well, we are in 2026 and we have a lot of exciting things to share with you. This month we have, as usual, Sue's Angel is doing her brain body fitness classes, and that is every Tuesday morning. If you would like to join the class, it is a Zoom class. So you can email me at lesliecoretti@yahoo.com. and we will send you a link and get you more information on the program. But it's basically connecting the body to your brain, the movement. So in case you're considering a hip replacement, knee replacement, or have any type of physical issues, this is something that can really help to retrain your muscles either before or after any type of surgeries. She is an occupational therapist and has been doing this for approximately 40 years. We also have our Qigong classes, and those are on Wednesday morning. They are at the City Park, right behind the administration building, and they're about an hour to an hour and a half. These are very slow movements with your breath. It's kind of like meditation, but really it's just concentrating on your breath, breathing, and slow movements. Very beautiful, exciting times to learn more about your body, how it works, because even Dr. Sears says, if you remember, the most important thing is to find something to do, be out there, and just keep moving. So there are two other events that are happening ongoingly every single week. So we have Dr. Shin is doing assessments upstairs in the administration building on computer, and we're going to be talking about that and other things today, as well as, my goodness gracious, I'm having my own self, I'm thinking about cognitive assessments today, and I'm like really freaking out about this. So let me introduce our guest. His name is Carl, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about what happens when you have these memory lapses or flashes, or you can't find a word, or what have you. Is cognitive a death sentence when we start to have mild or medium cognitive impairment? Let's find out. So let me introduce Carl right now. Carl, welcome, welcome. We are so excited actually to have you here because the memory is one of the major things at our age that we're all concerned about.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not like we can't remember, but it's maybe one word that doesn't come out.
Right.
Or that we can't remember that one word. And we kind of think it's, oh my God, this is it. It's a death sentence. Is it?
No, it's not. And Leslie, thank you so much for inviting me here today, because the message about cognitive health is an important one, more so than ever before. In the last 50 years or so, everyone thought of the brain as sort of a battery. It slowly runs down, and you start noticing the battery's down when you're forgetting words, you start forgetting where my keys are, or even something as drastic as leaving the stove on.
Oh.
But we know people who do that their whole lives as well.
Yes.
So as we age, it starts to be associated with aging, and sometimes it's nothing to do with aging. So that's why I'm really excited to be here today to talk about the real cognitive health mission that we're all involved in as seniors.
Yeah, I know. It's something that we as seniors really think about. So is it preventable?
It's interesting because back to that metaphor about the brain as a battery, you would assume that it's not anything you can do unless you find a way to recharge the battery. But the brain is not a battery. The brain is the most important part of how you get through the day. Your consciousness is making decisions all the time. And when you're feeling like you may have some cognitive impairment, it's completely reversible in half of the cases. Now,
Oh, that's great. Half of the cases? Wow.
Right. Now, it's even more reversible if you consider the things that you thought were cognitive decline but are not.
Oh, okay.
So now you're getting into the zone of maybe 75 to 80% of what you think is cognitive decline is reversible. So if you really have cognitive decline, and as physicians, we refer to it as mild cognitive impairment or moderate cognitive impairment or major cognitive impairment. They're all MCI, MCI, MCI. But when you think about what is real cognitive impairment, it's not as common as the thinking that you have it. And of course, you already can identify the fear. You know, oh my gosh, maybe I'm getting Alzheimer's, and that fear can cause impairment. But it's not real impairment. It's just a syndrome of thinking you're getting old, you know. So it is very reversible, 50% of the cases.
50% of the time. Okay, so what is this about the hidden thieves of cognitive?
Oh my goodness, it's so amazing that we live in a world full of wonderful medicines that unfortunately have side effects that can do real work in our body. For example, beta blockers.
Oh yeah.
You know, beta blockers are really great. Statins, they're really great. The side effects of each of them are real, but manageable. But if you don't watch for the side effects, they can include cognitive impairment. For example, you are taking a beta blocker and your blood pressure gets a little too low, and all of a sudden that's causing you to not think very clearly.
Okay, you mean with all of the different types of medications that we're taking for everything else?
Right, exactly. And when we get into the cognitive impairment zone where you're getting a medicine for cognitive, mild cognitive impairment, like a preventative for Alzheimer's, then you get into real trouble because some of these medications have only this much benefit, and it's arguable about what that really helps you with, but this much side effect. Oh yeah.
So there's
really
more
bad.
side effect than
Yeah,
benefit.
so a lot of the really harsh drugs have such bad side effects that if the dose is wrong, you'll faint. You even faint. So anyway, we have to be really careful about moving into the medication zone when we're talking about cognitive impairment, because the medications themselves often interfere with each other. They interfere with our cognition, and it looks like you have dementia when you really don't.
I see. So also, what about all of these medications that they have on the market now saying, oh, this is going to help your brain fog and clear and all that? I mean, are any of those any benefit?
Okay, it's really hard to say anything bad about something that's not harmful and it makes you feel happier and better.
Okay, so it's more like a placebo.
There is some of that, but it's true that certain nutritions, generally, nutritional supplements and everything, work better for the brain. But mostly the human being has them all. So we take the vitamins, and if the vitamin actually makes you feel like you have better cognition, they actually are working because you know whether your cognition's better. But as you said, there is a placebo response built into the human brain, really powerful, and it can do the job for you by just thinking it works.
Right, right. Well, this is pretty amazing. You know, all of this. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you actually got started and got into this wonderful world of helping seniors.
Okay. Well, because I am one. So I owe it to myself to help seniors. So the funny thing is, I've always been interested in healthcare, in medicine, and I had a technology bent toward making software solutions to help healthcare get better. And that's what I've done my whole life, and we've made some really wonderful products that help that. But in the last 6 years, when we founded Nubellum, the corporation that I lead, we brought in physicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists, and we got together to figure out what's the state of the art in cognitive care and bring that to the world, because it's coming to the world slowly, but there's a lot of things that could just arrive soon. So that's what we did. We started a company to change the way we think of cognitive health and get far better results at maintaining good cognition.
Maintaining good cognition.
Yeah.
Now that we love to hear.
That's right.
Because we're all wondering, how can we maintain at least the way we are?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, I know Dr. Amen, so many other doctors are always talking about, well, you know, maybe this will help for 7 years.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So that you're not going to like immediately
Right.
have dementia.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
it's a slow process.
Right.
But is it possible not just to slow the process down, but actually, is it like a mental thing that we're working on more or less with the cognitive?
That's a big key part of it, really. And referencing all of the work that neurologists and brain researchers did, like Dr. Amen, and he has 20, 30,000 brain scans. He talks about what he's found in the patterns of the brain scans. The brain itself and scanning the brain can only get you so far, because there are lots and lots of cases that we've studied for 120 years that show huge pieces of your brain are missing and cognition is perfect. So there are people that have been studied who barely have a thin layer of a brain around the outside of where the brain should be, in mostly space, and they pass cognitive tests. So this leads researchers to wonder, is it really the missing pieces in the brain that cause the problem, or are there other things going on? And there are other things, and here's what they are. Your brain is a constant rebuilding of all of your neural circuits every day. From early childhood till adulthood and beyond, your brain is always looking for new things to learn.
Right.
If there's
right.
nothing new to learn, your brain gets it. It's got the message delivered. Nothing new to learn. Just start fading. Now you know where cognitive decline begins. It begins by giving up. If you watch a television show every single day, it might be enjoyable, but you're not doing anything for your brain. Your brain's going, nothing to do, nothing to do. And so the neuroplasticity of the brain works in reverse to create a less and less presence in life.
Well, what about this, Carl? Sometimes I do watch a program, I will choose to watch at least one program a day.
Sure.
I'm not spending all day.
Yeah, I have my favorites too.
But you watch one program. I kind of like detective movies because I like to figure out the end way before we get there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm always like, but I bet you this, but I bet you that.
Yeah.
And my husband's always sitting next to me thinking, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, didn't you see what they said? That means probably that this person is the one who did it, not that person.
Right, right. And you brought up a really good point about watching TV. You're describing a scene where you and your husband are commenting on the TV. It's like you're turning the show into a director's cut and you guys are the directors. That's activating all the right circuits.
Oh.
You're getting social interaction because you're with someone you love and you're talking about things. You're getting the puzzly nature and curiosity. Well, it's going to end this way. I don't think so. And you're getting the winning and the losing. I did it, you didn't. So those kinds of fun things are just what the brain loves.
Oh.
That's why children learn so fast, because life is so fun and new things everywhere. And the brain just lights up and loves all that. So you're doing the right thing when you watch TV by talking about the show with your husband. Now, for people who live alone, the challenge is different because you have to now get away from the TV to talk to other people. And the social aspect of keeping your cognitive health is just as important as any other part. So mention Qigong, the little classes that you guys do with Qigong. It is such a mindful activity. People don't recognize until they do it that their brain is actually lit up thinking about their breathing, thinking about this, and their brain is doing all of the fun part of the Qigong. And the physical movements like the Qigong where you do this thing, it's a really amazing movement, but your brain is leading it. So it's really good, healthy work for your brain. No heavy exercise and lots of mental thoughts about breathing and exercise.
Yeah,
So
it is.
It's a mental thing.
It's relaxing, and yet when you finish, you feel like you have a workout. Maybe it's, all of the things that she has us do,
Yes, exactly.
It's very exciting. We do the 8 treasures.
Yes, and I want to remind your viewers, the most important thing about activities are that when you learn a new activity and you haven't yet decided whether you like it or not, that fact that it's new is lighting your brain up and connecting things. Once you start loving the activity and you do it regularly, your brain is rewarding you for doing what you fell in love with doing. So if you like Qigong, keep going. And if it's not for you, try something else, but don't stop trying. The trying is where the brain keeps learning. That's what it is.
Right.
Don't give in.
It's all about the trying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That's really cool. So we have something extraordinary that we are going to be doing here. We're going to be talking in depth on the cognitive, they call it the MCI,
Oh, yeah, mild
the
cognitive
mild
impairment.
or the severe,
Moderate,
or,
yeah, exactly.
Let me see, I have the dates here. March the 14th, we're going to start this assessment in our brain so that we can get excited about how we can control this situation and get excited about it rather than worry about it. It'll be at Clubhouse 7. We will start around 9:30 in the morning, and then we're going to go into the second week. The second week is going to be on March the 21st, and we're going to continue learning how it works and how to test ourselves. That will be the second week, and then the third week on the 28th, we will have a little luncheon, and we will actually take the test with our, together. So you can choose a mate that you want to take the test with, or we will assign someone, and you can eat. Then we'll switch off, and so that will be the third week. The cost for all 3 weeks, if you pre-register, is only $25. That's including your lunch. That's for all 3 sessions. And if not, you don't have a chance to do that prior to, you have exactly 1 month right now to pre-register. Otherwise, you can just come, pay at the door, $10 each session. So that is what we're going to be doing. And now we're going to tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing there, because this is amazing. First of all, before we even begin talking about what we're going to be doing, this is something that I want to show you, because we're going to be talking about all different parts of the brain. Isn't that so, Carl?
Yep.
So can you give us a little bit of an explanation
let
on
me
that?
walk you through this, because this is, it looks like just a silly little chart, but it's going to describe your brain in such perfection on the day you take the test that if you show this to your primary care physician, he or she will likely say, wow, I've never seen anything like this. Where did you get this?
Oh.
That's how new it is.
That's how new it is.
There's a lot of cognitive tests, but they all sort of end up giving you a sum score. Like, I did this, you got a 28 out of 30, you're fine. Others will say, you got a 24 out of 30, maybe there's something there. But what do these numbers really mean? What we really want to see is all of the basic functions that people notice about you here.
Right,
we want to
right.
see how well you do in situations, how well your brain does in word flow. And when you look at all of these things and you see where you're high and you're low, here's where the miraculous part comes in. In the last decade, we've learned that a low score over here can be lifted by associating those activities with things that you do that have a high score. Through classical conditioning, association, you can learn, if you want to learn better word flow, you can do it by associating with other activities. So we'll learn all about that when we get into the third week. And in the third week, everyone will leave with one of these, and it's perfectly private. You don't have to share it with anyone. If you're not thinking that it's something you want to share with your doctor, you don't have to. And then you can take the test again 6 months later, a year later, and there's room for 3 different tests on the same card. That means you can compare your chart that you make with your chart you make 6 months later and see if you've improved. Because there are many things we can teach you to do to improve, and that's what we'll teach in the first week. The first week will be all about how new cognitive care really is now. In the last 10 years, things you can do to reverse. In the second week, we'll teach you all about the tests. So when you go to your primary care physician, you'll know exactly what tests he's using and what's good and bad about it, what it leaves out. You'll be an expert on testing without even trying. Then on the third week, you get the prize, know your own brain. So it's a really powerful chart.
Yeah, this is really, really great. It's color-coded, and I love the fact that it actually talks about different sections of the brain.
Exactly.
Because if we were only talking about one area, that would not really work.
Right.
And I hate the idea that they just give you a whole score and you don't really have any idea of what you need to work on.
Exactly. You can't know from a score what you should work on.
Yeah. So this is really, really great. And here's another thing that we're going to be passing out. And I love this. The Symphony of a Lifetime. how your brain rewires itself and why the choices you make matter more than ever. So we will be going through this booklet as well during our first meeting.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about that. This is so exciting. And then all this is happening on March the 14th at Clubhouse 7. Then we have a whole booklet, which we will be giving each person on the third week. And this will help you to give the test to your friend or to the person that you're working with, and for them to give the test back to you. And each person will have your own booklet. And this is a beautiful, very short manuscript. It's about how many pages? 20 pages?
Okay, this document that you're holding in your hand is the actual test itself.
Exactly.
And it's designed to have anyone able to give to anyone. You don't have to be a doctor to give the test. You don't have to be a trained nurse. You don't have to be certified in the test. There's a little booklet that you read about how to do it. Then you walk through the test on your own, and then you're ready to give the test. And it's so fun that people actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So that's why we're having the luncheon at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we want to make it a fun day,
Yeah.
a fun experience, and get great results out of it.
And by the way, CHAMP stands for Cognitive Home Assessment and Monitoring Platform. So it's designed to be done at home over time, again and again, so you can watch how you improve.
Oh, yeah. So you'll get this to take home.
Yeah, you'll have it to take home.
Oh, that is really, really great. Now, Carl, what would you say if a senior asks you, my spouse is starting to repeat things that I have been covering for him? Like, am I helping or hurting?
That's so good. I mean, it can go either way. Some spouses enjoy making you feel bad about your cognition, and others don't want to mention it. But what's going on here is the fear of not knowing is really what's rooting these kind of questions. So you're not helping by ignoring anything. There's never help coming. But there's always help in being kind. Like, never abuse people. If I can't remember things, there's no sense in abusing me for it. You get to the root of the problem. That's what we try to do.
Right. So what if you say to a senior who tells you, I have been faking my way through conversations because I can't follow them anymore? Who should I tell?
That's an exciting area because we all know that we get hearing loss, and we all know that the hearing aid technology is not perfect. So for some times, we don't want to wear the hearing aid. Other times we'll wear the hearing aid, but it becomes sort of a battle between hearing well and not. So what happens is when you get hearing loss and it's not corrected or kept in the maintenance mode of good correction, you're going to end up with that problem. And you might think that you're having a cognitive impairment just because of hearing loss. The same thing happens with our cataracts. When our vision goes bad, our brain's not paying as much close attention. And all of a sudden, when the cataracts are removed and the lenses are clear like a 20-year-old, the whole world opens up. Guess what? Your brain lights up and starts learning more too. So a lot of these types of things that are physical questions, you first test to make sure it's not that, then make sure it's not that, and then work on improving cognitive improvement.
Right, yeah, because a lot of people would say that you have dementia, but actually
It may be a hearing loss.
It may just be a hearing loss.
Right, and I find, because I have hearing loss too, and I have little hearing aids that I can put on that work really well, but when I'm not wearing them, I find myself in the habit of just agreeing. But sometimes the person knows you don't understand them, but they're now being polite by saying you didn't really understand. And other times they actually think you understood them, so it sounds like you have cognitive impairment when the next question comes and it was the wrong answer. So you lose either way.
Well, definitely it's a communication issue because
It is.
I'm laughing because, this happens with friends or with your spouses all the time. You swear they're not hearing you or they're not responding to you.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It makes me laugh because it happens all the time. So what would you say if a senior tells you, I'm terrified that if I say something to a doctor, I may lose my license or my independence? Now, I know several people that have this fear.
Right.
So what do you think?
Okay, it's a huge problem, and I'm going to classify it as the problem of medical records in a big system. So whatever you say to a primary care physician goes into the permanent record. So if I happen to say, yeah, I've been depressed lately, okay, go to the permanent record, he gets depressed. Do you have a suicide plan? And if I jokingly say, well, I had one, oh, now he has that. So you get diagnosed over little things. So if I go to a physician with my cognitive test and it's low, maybe you don't want that in your record. And so that's why it's so important to do cognitive testing at home, figure out your situation, and then present the results to the doctor.
Yeah, so basically this is cognitive home assessment.
Right, and monitoring platform.
And monitoring
right there at
platform.
home.
So this is something that you can monitor yourself.
And then you can decide when to share stuff that you're finding.
Yeah, that is so great. I just want to reiterate again, because our time is running short, I'm so happy to be with all of you again today. We will have our first event on March the 14th, and I believe that's a Saturday, and we will start opening the doors at 9:30. All of you are pre-registered, $25 for all 3 sessions, or it's simply $10 at the door. So we look forward to seeing you at Clubhouse 7. And this is going to be a so exciting time, because this is for you. This is for you to understand that it's really not as bad as you think and what you can actually do about it. So remember, everything that you do with love. And we'll see you next time. Have a great week.